Welcome to Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're in Irvine, California today at Christ Our Redeemer AME Church. We are joined by the pastor of that glorious organization. His name is Mark Whitlock, and we are actually here during the National Faith Leaders Conference. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
we
Brad.
appreciate it. Before we talk about the conference and the efforts of the organization, a lot of us are aware of the AME Church.
Yes.
But give us a sense of the just remarkable history of this church and the organization.
Well, first off, thank you for having
Absolutely.
us. The African Methodist Episcopal Church, born in 1787 out of what we call the now United Methodist Church.
Right.
We're a group of men and women wanted to establish a denomination that fed the hungry, clothed the naked, housed the homeless. And from there we went on to start 7 colleges. We have some 200 elementary schools. We were those who helped those who wanted to seek freedom. It's called the Underground Railroad Station, and the Underground Railroad Station was used by the AME Church to help those to find their way to a new life, a new beginning.
Think about, you're the progeny of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you absolutely descend from heroes, from giants.
Oh my God, if you think about the AME Church, it is so filled with not only the love of America, but the love of freedom.
I'm honored to be here, and I want to get a sense about the future of the church today, because obviously the issues that face the church in the last century and the prior few centuries are very different.
Yeah.
I know that this church, for example, has a community development corporation.
Absolutely.
What is the focus of the CDC?
The CDC, which is a part of our church, a separate nonprofit 501c3, is in the business of community development. What does that mean? Creating housing, creating jobs for those who are looking for a better life, finding a way to deal with public policy and correcting public policy that serves the greater community.
And I want to talk about how the CDC attacks that challenge, because look, it's undeniable as we come out of this recession and we look at unemployment statistics, men of color, women of color, the unemployment rate is higher compared to its counterparts.
Absolutely, and one of the challenges that we face is the lack of education. And so we've provided almost $500,000 for those who are matriculating through the University of California, Fullerton, as well as UCI. So, and Chapman. And then we move from there into entrepreneurial training as well as seeding small businesses. One of the things that we're celebrating today is that we're going to invest almost $1 million into students who are seniors and freshmen, juniors, seniors in college. And so we're excited about that as well.
And let's talk about how historically and sadly that had been a challenge.
It has been.
There had been redlining where if folks of color wanted to get a loan, be it for a home, be it for a business, the doors were not open.
Brown versus the Board of Education made a major significant change in our community. And then the Community Redevelopment Act of 1964-65 really helped change our country in dealing with redlining. But the truth is that you can depend on public policy, but we as an institution, we as Americans can make a difference one person at a time if we invest.
And it's interesting, we're talking in 2015, an historic anniversary, 50 years ago. Many pieces of legislation were passed, from civil rights to immigration reform. I mean, the list goes on and on. So as you reflect over the last 50 years and look forward to the next 50, let it be, what do you see?
We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to come. And so with that, we celebrate with Martin Luther King, and we celebrate with Rabbi Heschel. We're able to accommodate. We celebrate Lyndon Baines Johnson, which took place in 1964. We celebrate those men and women who made a difference in our community. Now it's our turn. Our responsibility is to take a look at the people within our community who are hurting and help them, who feel hopeless, give them hope, and then not only restore justice, but create a new platform for equality.
And you mentioned leaders of different faiths. 1965, I believe, was the year of Vatican II, where the Catholic Church opened its doors to folks of the Jewish faith and other faiths. And so I want to get a sense from you, how faith relations are amongst different communities of faith. We could focus on Christian, Jewish, but we also have Muslim brothers and sisters that are living in America and the challenges they face. And we are at a National Faith Leaders Conference.
So we're excited about the fact that the Roman Catholic Church of Orange County, Bishop Kevin Van, who is responsible for 1.3 million Catholics in Orange County, chose to partner with us. We're excited about Farrakhan, who is the president of the Newport Mesa Irvine, a group of Christian and Muslims that have come together to celebrate. And those are some 800 pastors right in Newport, Irvine, and the larger Orange County community. So yes, this is a coming together of people, regardless of their denomination, regardless of their pedigree, regardless of their zip codes, to make a difference in our community.
I want to speak about what sadly has become known as the prison pipeline.
Yes.
And I talk about this in the wake of some decisions by world leaders that shine a light on that. We remember the Pope recently came to America, and where did he visit? A prison. Barack Obama, the President of the United States, visited a prison. And we know that disproportionately, men of color are in prison. And so I know that's a goal of yours.
School to prison pipeline. The school to prison pipeline, we had an event here about 3-4 weeks ago that dealt with the school to prison pipeline. The real challenge in the school that we're faced with is there's a 50% dropout rate by African American and Latino men. And there's a real challenge there. Sometimes we're teaching to the test, sometimes we're just simply letting people move through the system without really seeing the challenges. Well, clearly, we cannot arrest our way to a solution. We cannot just incarcerate people and expect them to come out changed. What we have to do is offer behavioral differences. We have to create jobs, but we also have to take a look at how we stop this school to prison pipeline.
I got to ask you, if we were talking even a year ago, and you said that to me, I would say, yeah, but the public doesn't believe that. But it does feel to me, even within the last year, that view of we can't arrest our way out is becoming a more popular view amongst folks of all political stripes, left, right, and center. I'm surprised I'm saying that.
The privatization,
what is it right now?
The privatization of prisons is a profitable business for hedge fund funders. But the truth is, we have 1.2 million African American men in prison. We have almost that many Latino or Hispanic men in prison. The cost of providing food, shelter, housing for a person in prison is far more than the cost of providing education.
But why is it you believe that right now the vernacular is changing on the question? I would have never thought that we would have a discussion today when back in Washington, Democrats and Republicans are talking about prison reform. What's going on?
Because the glass shouldn't be looked at half empty, it must be looked at half full. These people have an opportunity not only to excel, but they also have an opportunity to scale. What does that mean? Give them an opportunity not only to learn how to fish, but own the ponds from which they fish, and then understand the public policy to keep the pond open where they fish. So we must take a look at writing a new book, and the book must be written by people at the bottom of the pyramid as well as those at the top of the pyramid. That way we make a difference.
But it feels like we've started writing. It does feel as if on the question of prison reform,
no question,
we've started writing.
When the president of the United States speaks about it, when the Pope in the Vatican speaks about it, and the faith community speaks about it, we can make a difference, but we make the difference one person at a time.
So when we speak in 5 years, what do you hope we see in terms of this question of prison?
If I had a magic ball, we would not say Black Lives Matter, but we would say all lives matter. If I had a crystal ball, we don't see 1.5 million men in prison, but we see just a few men in prison. We see more in college. If I had a crystal ball, we would drop the unemployment rate from a 50% or a 40% unemployment rate to a 25%.
His name is Pastor Mark Whitlock. He is with the Christ Our Redeemer AME Church in Irvine, California. My name is Pomerance, and this is Charter Local Edition.